messing around with it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk About Sex here at XFM 100.2 with me, Melody Kelly. It's a Thursday night, and we're going to talk about sex again. But today, we're going to talk about things that will lead to good sex. And with me in the studio, I used to introduce her as a beautiful blonde, but I think now I need to introduce her as a beautiful blonde, brunette, I can't decide yet.
Dirty blonde.
Dirty blonde. I mean, the adjective dirty goes a lot, you know, with the show. So she's wearing a headband that she feels like she's a child in, but it suits you.
I know, I really like it.
It really suits you. It gives you this je ne sais quoi, you know? You know? You look hip. Anyway, Emma, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's Christmas time. It's December. Have you done your shopping?
No, I bought one gift so far.
That's very good.
You?
I bought two for my nephews because I
Okay.
happen to be in a toy shop. My son's teacher is done as well because they're collecting money. Some other mummy. Fantastic. Now, enough of mummy talk. We're talking about sex, okay? Let me change roles again, please. Because I went into mummy role there.
But you like Christmas, Mel?
I love Christmas.
Yeah, I like Christmas too.
Yes, I love Christmas. You know, it's, I don't know. I just love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And in fact, today we're going to talk about something that has to do with Christmas and not Christmas in reality, with this time of year.
Yeah.
Because the time of year is the change of the year. And the third part of the show has to do with the change that we experience and how we can enjoy a fuller new year. So let's just introduce our topic, okay? And we are going to talk about personal growth and how personal growth is important for your relationship. Emma, personal growth, tell me.
Okay, so personal growth is related to our feelings of self-worth. Okay, so personal growth is looking within yourself and seeing where do you want to take your life. Right, so it's about owning your life, claiming it again, and when you do this, you actually, instead of allowing life to unfold, you know, you create a vision for where you want to take your life, and that way you focus your energy towards that vision. And when you do this, you're not just reacting to other people's demands of you. Okay, and all of this feeds into you having a more self-worth, feeling better about yourself, feeling good about your life, enjoying your life. And when you feel that way, when you feel good about yourself, you're much more able to love.
I think, sorry to stop you, but I think when a lot of women become mothers, okay, they just become mothers. Now, now, just by saying they just become mothers, I am not in any way saying that if that's your full-time job, it's just because it's a big job, okay? But I think what happens is I feel they forget about their needs.
Yeah.
And when you forget about your needs, you are simply reacting to other people's needs around you.
Yes, exactly.
So, okay, when the child is still a baby, you understand. You are there to cater for the baby's needs. But some women, and I say women because most of the time it's the woman who has to give up her job.
Yeah.
And her dreams.
Yeah.
To stay home with the kids.
Yeah, we're fighting it.
Yes,
like
we're trying to fight it, but most of
yeah.
the time that's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And some women are very happy to do that. Some other women have to do it because they have to do it. Okay? Yeah. So and that is what you mean when you say you just react to other people's needs.
Yes.
You just become a spectator of your own life.
Exactly. Yeah, and you lose your sense of self as well, right? It's even a man, for example, who, you know, got it drilled into his head when he was a kid that he should become a lawyer, but never actually asked himself, what am I passionate about? What am I excited about?
Do I want to become a lawyer?
You know, but
and
then
once he became a lawyer, am I happy? And that's another thing. And I think also in Malta, and I don't want to sound like I am dissing Malta in any way, but we have a very Mediterranean sense of thinking where we feel that we need to we need to feel secure all the time, secure, especially financially secure. And we have this attitude that you start a job and you die in that same job. Very few people.
Yeah, you have a very different experience
Change.
of this, in fact. No, you used to be a teacher.
I used to be a teacher, I was a teacher for a very long time, for a good 20 years, but then I felt I needed to shift.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people that I know, okay, and I'm not going to mention names because, or where they work, blah, 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 obviously, but a lot of people I know are bored in their jobs.
Yes. This is why personal growth is so important, because when you don't engage in it, you become bored with your life. And if you're bored with your life, you become boring. And then you are bored in your relationship because you're not exciting. And then maybe you snap
at your partner.
Exactly. And you start looking for external pleasures, like you start... because if you're bored, you're going to need to shift your state.
Yes.
And you're going to need to shift your state rapidly. So you're going to either drink so that you can let loose, or you're going to have an affair so that you can feel excitement. There's all these different things.
And there's another thing. If you become boring, your partner might become bored with you and go and look for excitement elsewhere.
Exactly.
So basically what we're trying to point out is that when we talk about personal growth, we are actually talking about settling in with yourself and telling yourself, am I happy when I am?
Yeah, it's about living life true to yourself so that you can stay excited and fulfilled. Like you can, you know what I mean? You want to wake up and you want to feel that you're on a mission.
Yes.
You don't want to wake up and feel like, okay, same old thing again today and tomorrow. And when you feel that way, forget it. Your sex life's not going to be good. Because
I had that. And everybody knows this, so I can talk about it. After 20 years of teaching, my last 4 years of teaching was my planning to move out. Because that's come with a plan. Obviously, if there are financial reasons, But I, as a person, became a bit sick. I started getting aches and pains in my body.
Yes.
I was nervous, anxious, snappy.
Exactly.
And
all these emotions and aches and pains let us know that something's off.
Yes.
It's they're good signals. That's why it's not always a good idea to reach for pills to cover up your aches and pains. It's good to actually listen to your pain, because your body is your number one source of. It's your indicator. It's like when you're driving a car.
Yes.
It's your indicator. It's telling you
it's what lights up
what you need and where to go. So it's really good that you listen to yourself and you chose to steer your life in a different direction.
Because when there's no personal growth, you become stagnant.
Yeah.
And as you said, your life, it's like you're in the carriage being drawn by the horses.
Yeah.
Whichever direction the horses decide to go, you're there.
And then you end up pissed off, right? You end up resentful because
it's
either your partner's driving your life, or your parents, or your
children,
or whatever, your children,
or your job.
So it's like personal growth is about taking your life back, claiming it, right? This is my life. And you can take it where you want it to go. It's not going to be a snap, it's going to take time, but it's totally possible. You can increase your quality of life in so many different dimensions, from your relationship to your financial status to your career and mission and to your just enjoyment of life in general. You can improve it in so many ways.
Because let's face it, at the end of the day, if there's no personal growth, if you are bored in your life, you will become bored in your relationship.
Definitely.
And the first thing that goes out of the window
is sex.
Yep.
Can you imagine two bored people having sex with each other?
It just becomes, okay, it's the time of the week, we haven't had sex in, X amount of days or weeks, whatever is good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, time to...
But imagine then two people who are excited
about the
living life,
yes, to the full.
Achieving, feeling fulfillment, and then they get together.
Yes,
right?
of course.
That's different. That's alive.
That's you and me here in the studio, baby.
Yeah.
You know, where we explode with excitement and, you know, with energy.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Growth is aliveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, you start feeling excited about new projects that you're doing, your face glows, you feel better, and obviously there's a whole general energy that you take everywhere that you go.
Exactly.
But it's not easy to
what?
To get out of the comfort zone.
Well, it's not easy when you haven't done it for a long time.
Yes.
You have to build momentum.
In the sense, I'm not talking about myself, because I know eventually I will get out of my comfort zone.
You put yourself out of your comfort zone a lot. So do I,
yes,
because we
yes,
go out and we speak in
yes,
front of people, and this is always scary.
Yes.
And the thing is, the less that you put yourself out of your comfort zone, the more difficult it becomes. But the more regularly you do it, you're
easier.
strengthening your courage. It's like a muscle, right? You're
Yes.
strengthening it. You're practicing it over and over and over again. So no, it's not easy. But once you take the first step, it becomes easier.
So tell me, how can people grow? I mean, I know we've spoken about it, but
How do people do it? Like, what's the process?
Yes. What's this science of achievement? You know, what's this?
Okay, so basically, to grow, you need to create your vision. Okay, so and that's not easy to do. That's a very difficult task. Like usually, people will get into self-development programs not because they're like, oh, I want to create my vision. It's more because they're facing a particular challenge. Right, like for example, experiencing depression or anxiety.
In fact, I see. Yes. Because I kind of go to when I can, I go to workshops which are self-development.
Yeah.
And I realize that I am there for self-development.
Yes.
But a lot of people come because they're going through.
And that's totally fine, right?
Trauma.
I went to a workshop in April, and like I was struggling with sort of defining my business strategy kind of thing, and I was struggling to make it profitable, and so it's okay to go there with a challenge, you know, and then while you're there, you create your vision. Okay, so the challenge is fine. Like our challenges are good because they let us know, okay, this is where we're struggling. And then you see guidance, you create your vision, and then once you have your vision clear, okay, so you know what you want to achieve, you have your outcome, it's very specific. Okay, so
this is very scientific what you're saying.
Yeah, there is a science to achievement.
Yes.
So then once you have your vision, there are two things that you need to look at. You need to, so let's say your vision, let's give an example, okay, because maybe it sounds a bit weird, vision, blah, blah, blah. So let's say your vision is...
Okay, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Tell me. Oh, we're out of time.
Yeah, I'm going to put a stop to you there, okay? We're going to stop for a pause, and we're going to stop for a song, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about this vision and how to create goals, and why this is a good timing to talk about it.
Okay.
End of the year.
Cool.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
See you later. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Sex here on XFM 100.2 with me, Melanie Kelly. And today I have the beautiful Emma Hogg, my brunette. So, we are talking about personal growth.
Yes.
And this is a subject that I absolutely love because for 10 years now, I think 10 years plus, I've been reading books non-stop. I have a beautiful, beautiful collection of self-help books.
And you go to workshops as well.
And I go to workshops as well. It's what I love because I find that pursuing your life purpose, okay, living with purpose every day. In fact, for a very long time, I was obsessed by the question of what is my life purpose. And sometimes I used to get very confused. I used to say, oh my God, what's my life purpose? What's my life? And then I came across a quote which I absolutely loved, and it stopped this intense questioning of what is my life purpose. And it said, your life purpose is living a life of purpose.
Okay. And what did that do for you?
What it did for me was it made me stop and see, do I love what I'm doing?
Does it fill me up or does it drain me?
Because sometimes, you know, when you talk about your life purpose, you feel that you want to go out and save the world. And sometimes, you know, you don't have to save the world. You have to save yourself first to be able to be happy living your life amongst other people. So when I read that, it kind of removed this pressure of finding what your life purpose is. And
Yeah.
it kind of put me in this place of, do I feel my life has purpose? You know?
Yeah.
And that stopped me. And that is what self-growth is all about. You know, thinking, am I happy with who I am?
Yeah. 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 I like that.
So anyway, before the
Live
break,
your
we
life
were
with
talking about how people grow, how people can grow, and you talked about having a clear vision.
Yes. Okay, so let's say coming up with a clear vision is defining your outcome. And what I like to do with myself and with clients is say, okay, what's your outcome? So let's just make it really specific in 1 or 2 sentences. And this doesn't usually come out like straight away. It takes a bit of playing around, but you'll get it. So for example, my outcome is to create
A business brand, maybe, or open a
that will
website,
be,
or
that will be profitable or whatever kind of thing.
your
Obviously,
outcome could
it's
be
different for everybody.
of
Or for
course.
example, my outcome is to become financially independent. Like, I have many women who come to me and my outcome is to become financially independent because, we are at a different,
Yes.
we've been raised differently and we are at a disadvantage to a point when we start out. So, okay, so that's the vision, right? It's the outcome, it's clearly defined. And then there's a science, then you break it into 2 parts. So there's the science of achievement, okay, which is defining the outcome. And then what many people miss is they define the outcome and they go straight into how are they going to achieve it.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I want to become financially independent, you don't go to how.
First, you need to go to why. Because the thing is, your why
drives you.
is your purpose,
Ah,
right? So
it
why
drives
do I
you.
want to be? And this might sound obvious to
So
people.
that I
It's
can
like,
kick
duh.
my husband out of the house. I'm joking.
So I can travel, so I can afford clothes that I actually like, so that I can, treat my family, so that I can educate myself, so that,
Okay.
like
Yes.
so many different reasons.
Okay.
The thing is, it might sound obvious, like Moshovia, everybody wants to be financially independent. Fine, but the thing is, when you move to your how, which is the next step, okay, creating your strategy, you're gonna meet so many obstacles, okay, challenges,
Resistance.
okay, that you need your why.
I'm getting you.
Did
to
you ever
drive
read-
them away?
Exactly.
Yes.
Did you ever read the book by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning?
No.
So-
So write that down.
Okay, so Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist in Germany. He was a Jewish psychiatrist, and he ended up in the Nazi concentration camps. And he studied everybody there, kind of, and asked himself, like, okay, there are some people who are really physically fit, but they are really struggling, and there are some people who aren't so physically fit, but they are managing to make it through the day. They are managing to keep their spirits, if not super high, but high enough to get through the day. And he did research essentially in this space and asked, like, what's the difference?
What's driving them?
And what he found was that these people would have a why. They would have a reason to stay alive. They would
Yes.
have a purpose. So it was either, that they were going to help to shift something, to help people heal when they got out, or they believed that a family member was still alive, or that a friend was still alive, or a loved one,
So there was the why.
And your why is what fuels you, it's what drives you. So it's very, very important that whenever you define an outcome, you then ask yourself why, and then you go to your how. Then you go to your strategy.
Agreed.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's go back to the relationship. Okay. So let's go back to the relationship. What happens to a relationship when people don't value growth?
It becomes stale, right? So it starts to suffer because it starts to become boring. And the thing is, the other part of creating this vision is the art of fulfillment.
Okay.
Okay, so there's the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment.
Okay.
And this is important for relationships, because people stay in relationships because we find them fulfilling. It's not because we made a promise to each other, so we're stuck together, right?
Yes.
Because you can leave. It's not so easy, but you can.
Yes.
And so,
but sometimes, Emma, personal growth would also sometimes mean that you need to leave your partner.
Yes, sometimes the partner is resistant to personal growth. They don't engage in it, right?
No, but I'm not saying you leave because your partner won't grow with you. I'm talking about that sometimes personal growth, being passionate about your life, regaining your life back, not living a life where you react with people, also would involve leaving a partner.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes.
And that's why many couples find it so scary to allow their partners to grow, right? And sometimes people try to trap each other.
Yes.
Okay, like they go into this playing the martyr thing, like where, I didn't, I didn't do what I wanted to do, so you don't do it. Like, I didn't go out with my friends, so why should you? Or I didn't go on that trip, so why should you spend money on that trip?
That's a different way of looking at it.
This is part of growth, right? Like spending
time. Yes, the suffocating one another is actually keeping you here, not out there.
Because it's scary, because with growth you could lose someone, but that isn't a reason not to grow, because you're going to end up losing each other anyway if you don't grow, because you're not actually seeing each other and you're not actually experiencing each other. You're not knowing each other. I mean, one of the greatest beauties and gifts of being in a relationship is watching each other unfold as the years go by. Like my husband still surprises me to this day, like in what he's able to achieve, and the love he brings and everything. So I'm not saying we don't get stuck in our own, like there's no such thing as the perfect relationship, but what I'm saying is relationships stay alive when you're both engaged in personal growth. And yeah.
So if you have a relationship where one person is all for growing but the other person is not even maybe aware that there needs to be growth,
it's tough.
It's very tough.
It's really tough.
Because one values growth and the other one sometimes not only does not value growth but does not even see the need for it, or some people are even unaware of it. Some people are just plain bored with their life and look around and say, but everything's okay, I have a good job, I have a nice husband or wife, I have great kids, but they're still bored.
Yeah, and they would feel it in some way. Either they'll get the body will create some form of symptom.
Yes,
because you're either growing or you're dying. And I'm not saying that you're gonna die,
you're not dying literally,
but kind of you will either start experiencing aches and pains, or experiencing anxiety attacks, or experiencing a lot of anger, or depression. And in fact, I had a conversation with Oz and Jay last week, and I said like depression can be a blessing, and some people misunderstood this.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the struggle is ever fun. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you allow yourself to the body will become depressed to let you know that something's off.
Yes.
It's
a symptom.
The body cannot stay in this state forever. It will shift. It will, but one of the worst things we can do is just like label that person and say, okay, you have depression, there's nothing you can do about it, there's something wrong with your brain, it's a chemical imbalance, take some pills. Which, by the way, this whole medical system has been funded by our pharmaceutical industries, right? So that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that you're not capable of changing things. But the truth is, if you just see it as, okay, it's a depression, big deal. Like, it's true, it's painful, it's bloody painful when you're in it. I get this, I've been in it, I know it's painful. And sometimes it can seem like there's absolutely nowhere
you can go. Yes, it's black, just black.
Yeah. But what do? You get guidance, right? You get guidance. You do your breathing, even though you don't feel like it. You go and meet people, even though you don't feel like it. You write, you journal, and something will unfold. You will heal. And this is a massive part of personal development. It's not just yes, there's the science of achievement, because to grow you have to be achieving. You have to be on the edge of your comfort zone, feeling excitement and putting yourself out there. This is growth. It's also the art of fulfillment. It's also what makes life meaningful for you, right? But it's also healing, because without healing what you've gone through, if you've been through trauma, if you've had a very difficult childhood, if you have self-beliefs that screw you over, you cannot achieve, you cannot move forward, you cannot feel fulfilled, because you've been pre-programmed. We've all been pre-programmed.
Yeah.
This is why we need personal development, because it's that time to look to, it's like you take a meta perspective, right? You look at yourself from above, and you
Yes.
kind of, you see the way that your beliefs are either hindering you or pushing you forward. And once you have awareness, then you can choose. You can choose, do I want to keep this belief, or do I want to throw it away and replace it with one that actually serves me and serves the people around me?
We're going to stop for a short break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about New Year, growing,
Okay.
what you can do with your partner to grow together, and maybe you can give us some ideas
Cool.
of introducing this personal growth within a relationship, and how can they maybe start growing together.
Awesome.
So we're going to be right back. So Emma, I have a question. So we're talking about personal growth, and we are talking about how personal growth, because obviously if you look at growing, you are striving to see what drives you, what you're passionate about, and hence you become a happier person. Happier person leads to better communication, happier mood,
Feeling good about yourself.
feeling good about ourselves,
Better focus and clarity.
and once you have all that, you know that then you can function well with your partner.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I also asked you what happens when, one person grows but the other one does not value growth. And obviously you said, well, it's not easy because the relationship tends then to get a bit boring. But if I ask you, if you decide to both grow, does it guarantee that you're going to have a good relationship and a good sex life?
Okay, so this is where it gets tricky.
Aha,
So-
I like tricky.
So yes, look, if you are both growing, you're much more likely to have a good relationship and a good sex life, but you have to be careful, because if you're both only valuing your self-growth, you can end up growing apart. Okay, so what's important is that you keep valuing your self-growth, but you have to have rituals that bring you together. Okay, so you have to value togetherness, because you have to create a common vision. Okay, within having your own visions, because you're two different people from two different backgrounds, you're going to have different ideas on how much money you should earn, and different ideas on how you should raise children, and different ideas for how much you should travel and whatever. You need to be able to communicate this, and these conversations are not always easy to have.
They are not, in fact.
Yeah.
I think it can get quite awkward, even with couples who have been together for years. I think sometimes to just sit down and talk about feelings, and especially for men, I think it's a bit harder than it is for women.
And it can be threatening as well, right? So let's say one person's vision of financial success is this, and I'm making a big,
Yes.
with my hands I'm showing a big
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
And the other person's, it's smaller, it's more comfortable, it's kind of whatever. This creates tension, right? So some people would rather avoid the conversation completely.
Because let's face it, when you're not growing, the water is calm. What do I mean? Hold on. What do I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
The water is calm as in you're not shake.
You're not arguing.
If you grab a mattress and it's full of dust, you're not gonna know how much dust there is in it
Until you
unless
shake
you
it.
shake it.
Yeah,
The minute
yeah.
you shake it, the dust comes out.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
the thing is that a lot of people get comfortable in their lives. A lot of people, we as humans need routine. So we get very comfortable in routine. And when relationships get boring, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this, a lot of couples say, why ma, we've been together so many years, mush ovvja, it gets a bit boring.
No, it doesn't have to be that
No.
way. If you believe that, then yes, of course it's going to
You
be
know,
boring.
but I don't think it's people who believe that. I think that it is what we have been told for many years,
Yes.
what we have learned.
Yes, but you can change
of
what
course.
you learn. You can change your beliefs. It's just like this with, this whole concept of I want to be careful here, because I'm not saying that mental illness doesn't exist. People do become mentally unwell.
Yes, of course.
But what I'm saying is, if you go to your therapist and they tell you that you are mentally unwell and there's nothing you can do about it, that becomes your belief system.
That becomes your belief system.
Right? That's what you're taught.
And this
Or-
is what we are taught, kind of. You
so
know,
exactly
that,
with relationships.
Yes.
But the thing is, you can change your beliefs. You can. Like, yes, we're taught something, but no, relationships don't have to get boring just because you've been together for past 10 years, and they can stay exciting. And you know what? You're a woman and you've always thought that, that you're probably not gonna earn as much as your husband or whatever, or you're not as capable. It's BS.
It's
BS. Just
I
like
like that.
you just need to challenge those self-beliefs, and that's what personal growth is all about, right?
Yes,
It's
and
having
that's-
somebody who's going to challenge you.
And that's what I mean, because I know so many people who are bored in their jobs, okay, but feel that they've got nothing else they can do. What am I going to do if I leave my job? And this idea of what am I going to do if I'm going to leave my job, for me, means that you don't have enough, you don't value yourself enough to tell yourself, listen, if I need my job, I can go and study, I can go and do this. You know what? Just sit down and think about what you want to do.
There are other ways of creating revenue, right?
Yeah,
Like for me, it was a massive jump going from employed to self-employed. I'm sure it was for you as well.
Yes,
Like
yes.
You go from receiving a
Yes,
set amount in your
to
bank
making your own
to,
money.
and first you start with less, and then you grow it and you grow it and you grow it, and
Yes.
but you're challenging yourself. Like
Yes.
at first you don't even believe it's possible, and then you're like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
like I can
Yes.
do this, cool, I
Yes.
can maintain it and I can grow it even further.
And sometimes I believe that even if why was I talking about the mattress and the dust and whatever? Because I asked you a question and I said, if you're growing, does it guarantee that you're going to have a good relationship and good sex?
Uh-huh.
And
Yes, yes.
It doesn't guarantee that. It actually might set you apart from each other.
So there's a
You
way,
know?
but there is a way to take care of this, right? There's a way to protect your relationship.
Mhm.
So remember, people stay in relationships because they're fulfilling.
Okay.
So make your relationship a fulfilling space, and this means you need to prioritize it. So while we're all busy achieving and accomplishing and doing, okay, because that's the nature of nowadays,
Yes.
you also need to value being together, goofing off, having fun, because this, like, just being together, having a coffee together, going for a weekend somewhere, this creates safety.
Yeah.
And you cannot grow without safety. So if your relationship doesn't have safety, you will not allow each other to grow because it's too scary. So you need to be able to create safety, okay?
So
and
that you can grow,
so that you can grow,
but
and
not
also
apart together.
and also so that you can have those difficult conversations. Because to create a common vision, you are gonna argue. You're gonna argue about money. You're gonna argue about the way you raise your kids. You're gonna argue about how much you should travel. You're gonna argue about, how open you should be with people of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever. And do you know what I mean? But the thing is, love goes beyond conflict. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship, and a good relationship, you argue. You argue in a respectful, constructive way.
Yes. I don't know how respectful and constructive it could be, but by the end of the argument, hopefully it is respectful and
You repair,
constructive,
you repair,
and you repair.
you keep
Now, why
love
is
at the
this
foreground.
a great time to talk about these things? Because obviously we're in December, a lot of festivities coming up,
Yes.
and then there's New Year, then there are the famous New Year resolutions, and
Yes.
which are never kept, but
Yes, New Year's resolutions usually fail because they don't have the right support.
I'm going to tell you why
To
they
do
fail,
it.
because they don't have the clear vision
They don't have a clear
and
vision.
the why
Okay, and the why.
and the outcome.
Exactly. So they don't have a clear vision, they don't have the why, and they don't have the strategy. So I love New Year's for reconnecting with your vision and your purpose and your strategy. Okay, because it's a new chapter. It's a great time to look inside and reevaluate and say, okay, like, this is what I've accomplished this
in
year.
2018.
And
so
now
what
this
do
is-
I want for 2019?
Exactly.
So although you kind of don't start with a clean slate because you are still, you know, just in the same place you were one day ago, you know, but you can say, okay, it's now 2019, okay, let's make 2019 a year of where we're going to try and grow
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
There are workshops that you can go to, even locally. I'm going to one.
Yeah, there are workshops, and
I'm
specifically
going
New
one
Year
with this
workshops.
fabulous lady, but I'm not going to tell you who she is. This brunette, okay?
Okay.
Um,
If you don't want to go to a workshop, okay, workshops are helpful because, you know, you've got that time and you dedicate that time to creating your vision and creating your strategy and your why and reconnecting with your purpose and also addressing the self-beliefs, right?
Yes.
Because the self-beliefs are what going to carry
Very
you forward.
important.
So that's awesome. So workshops are extremely helpful.
They are the
if you
starting
don't-
point for the rest of the year, kind of. It's like, you know, if you want to play football well, you need to go and get football lessons. You need to
Exactly.
coach.
Exactly. You
You
seek
know?
a mentor. Exactly.
I mean, a mentor. And even
Yeah.
if then you know it, but then you just go once in
Or
a
a touch
while.
up, right? Because
Yes.
sometimes we forget
Yes.
and we lose track.
Yes.
Exactly. And if you want to like strengthen your relationship as a couple, go as a couple, go to these workshops as a couple, you know, and then talk about it afterwards. It's going to be good for you, like, you know, so
Or maybe they can read books.
you can
or-
read books. Look, reading books are good and I love reading. I read all
Yes.
the time. The problem is if you just read and you don't take action,
Yes.
you're limited.
No, you have to, if you're going to read a book, you've got to, you know, but even if they go to a workshop maybe abroad, it would be a good time to spend together.
Exactly. Exactly. There's great stuff happening. There's loads of resources.
There's a lot of help actually out there, especially about self-growth nowadays. I think we live in an era where we, in general, this rise into being who you are and what you're passionate about it's on the rise.
Yes.
It's
yes.
on the rise
Which
because
is
in
amazing.
reality,
It's such a good time to be alive.
yes, because what is life all about at the end of the day? Being happy. And how do you live a happy life? By doing what means something to you, what is fulfilling
Exactly.
to you.
Because when you are fulfilled, you can give back, you can contribute. When you're living with your cup half full, you need someone else to fill it. And this is where relationships start to go array.
Yes.
Is that the word? Awry? Whatever. They go off.
Yes,
because
yes,
they're
yes,
looking
yes.
to each other to fulfill each other's needs.
Yes.
You have to fulfill your own needs first. Okay, so look, New
Yes.
Year's is coming up.
New Year's, go,
If you,
tell us.
If you don't want to go to a workshop and you want to like create a little ritual for yourselves at home,
Okay.
okay, this is something that I've been doing for years and it's
Tell
awesome.
me, I want to do it.
You can create a vision board.
I know.
Right?
I've been doing it for years.
Okay, but
love it.
Wait, there are other steps to it.
Okay,
Because
tell me.
sometimes the vision board, I started with just creating the vision board,
Yes.
which is great because it helps you to get clear on your vision.
Yes.
So just get a piece of carton sheen, go through magazines, and just like cut out images of things you want to create in the
Yes,
new year.
there's this big
So
house with this massive pool, which is still like
There
hanging
you
on my
go.
vision board
There you
for
go.
the
You
past
can
like
put-
7 years.
You can put travel, you can put a fit body, whatever you want to create.
Yeah.
The thing is, your vision can be clear, okay, but you need to reconnect with your why, and you need to have a
Yes.
strategy.
You
because-
can't put it up there and just
and expect
pray
it to come. Like that's
yeah,
not
yes.
how it
No,
works. Like
no.
that's just magical thinking.
Yes, yes.
So what you can do is look at each of the items on your vision board and make your outcome super clear. So in 1 or 2 sentences, just say, I want to create blah 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 in 2019. Okay, and just make it like just very, very clear. Then you move on to your why. So ask yourself why. Why do I want this? And list all the reasons that come to you. Okay, because I want a better quality of life, because I want to enjoy myself.
Maybe they can do it
because
together
Whatever.
also.
Do it together, right? And then you go into your how. So you're going to ask yourself, how am I going to create this? And at first your brain's going to go, I don't know, but just stay with it, okay? Stay with it, because before you know it, so many things will come to you. You'll have your strategy, and this is your massive action plan. And usually you only need to do 20% of your action plan to achieve 80% of your results. So you don't even need to do it all, and your action plan can shift, it can adjust, because then what you do is you'll measure it, right? You'll see, am I achieving what I want with my action plan? So you might have to tweak things and go back and whatever, but there's a science to achievement. You can achieve whatever you want. It's not that complicated. And if you're having difficulty with this, seek a mentor. You know, maybe make that your New Year's thing, that you're gonna get a guide, you're gonna get coached on this, like, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah. Emma, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you for inviting
today.
me again.
You're welcome. I will see you in the new year.
In the new year, baby. 2019.
Yeah. So I'll have my vision board and all, you know, set up by then.
Amazing.
Promise you. I promise you. So anyway, that's a good night from me here on Equipment 100.2. And yes, I will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, let's go outside.
Hello. What up, though?
What up?
You have a special, like, Merry Christmas wish for everybody?
I can't say Merry Christmas, but like, I'm a Grinch.
Are you really?
Yes.
What, you don't like Christmas?
I don't particularly.
There's a new movie out. The Grinch.
I know.
The Grinch is out. Yes. Oh. So if you were to have one thing you like, what would it be?
Going back to Canada to see the snow.
Oh, okay, you go in.
No, I wish.
Oh, okay, but you chose the hard one, like. You wish. Okay. Ciao.